here. And that lets you save. Look here.
True Form Life.
Green look on it.
Welcome to Exploring Mind and Body with Drew Tadia. Drew is an expert in nutrition, fitness, lifestyle, and more. And he wants to help you live a healthier, longer, and more active life. Now here's your host, Drew Tadia.
All right, welcome back to another edition of nationally syndicated Exploring Mind and Body. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for tuning in and being a part of our True Form Life community. Whether you're tuning in as a podcast around the world or across the country on our terrestrial radio stations, we certainly wouldn't be here without you, and we so much appreciate your support. Now, today I'm bringing on Julian Hayes II. And I really enjoyed this interview. Julian has a different perspective when it comes to living a healthy lifestyle. And I want to read you his bio here. So Julian Hayes II is a high-performance sleep and nutrition consultant. He's the founder of The Art of Fitness and Life, where he helps high-performing entrepreneurs and business leaders create more energy so they can move at a faster pace in life while operating with an edge over the competition. So once again, Julian does take a different type of approach. I really like his fresh and new kind of perspective around health and wellness. He's going to talk about sleep. He's going to talk about superheroes, which I love as well, because I think many times when it comes to health and wellness, it's kind of boring when it gets into that scientific type of stuff. But Julian has a much different approach that I know you're going to enjoy. So sit back and enjoy. We got all that coming up on...
This is Exploring Mind and Body. Naturally improve your lifestyle one show at a time with your host, Drew Tadia.
All right, welcome back to another edition of Exploring Mind and Body. You heard all about Julian in the introduction, so without further ado, welcome to the show, Julian.
Hey, what's up, Drew? How's it going? Thanks for having me on.
It's going great. It's our pleasure. You're welcome. And I'm excited to be talking with you this morning and to share the content and expertise you have going on to share with our audience here. Why don't you take a step back here and let our audience know who you are and where you're coming from so we can get into some more details about the show.
Okay, so we'll start back in college, and this is where kind of my superhero origin story starts. And I'm a very skinny kid, around 160 pounds. I'm devoid of any type of confidence, and I need a way to get confidence so I can feel good about myself and also have the confidence to go talk to girls. And so naturally, I find my way into the gym, and I become obsessed with it. I'm into comic books, and I noticed that superheroes are always very athletically built, and that just further motivated me to really dive deep into working out. And this passion led me to New York, where I went to medical school, and I thought I wanted to be a doctor. And then while I was in New York kind of turned my life upside down, because I'm from Tennessee, and Tennessee is very conservative compared to New York. And so safe to say I was met with a lot of different characters who really helped me mold a new paradigm. And that summer I came back for my first year of school, and I really enjoyed school. I just woke up in the middle of the night in the summer, and I just remembered that I'm not going back to school. But I love health, but I love this thing called writing, and I can still find a way to help people. And I kind of just mixed those things together and started my company, The Art of Fitness and Life, which is a health and performance company where I'm helping a lot of high achievers create more energy so they can move at a faster pace in life. And we do that through just helping them automate their health.
Automate your health. How do we do that?
So that's creating systems and structures for multiple areas of your life. Because what I come to find is information is not a problem for people. People know that vegetables are good. They know that fruits are good. And we see all these diets out here and all these workouts, all these different types of workouts. But how do we put that together to fit with our lives? So that's where automating your health is you're looking at, for instance, like your particular work life, and then picking a diet or picking a style of eating and a style of working out that best fits that particular lifestyle for you.
So we have to design our lifestyle around our lifestyle, or I don't like to say diet, but the way we live around the things that we enjoy.
Yes. And I'm trying to get rid of that habit as well. It's diet and just calling it like a style of eating, because the word diet has such a negative connotation with it now. But yes, look into your lifestyle. Make fitness work with your lifestyle and not the other way around. Fitness doesn't necessarily have to be your king and ruler.
And then, okay, so when you talk about your business is called The Art of Fitness in Life, where does this high performance, I know you talked about entrepreneurs and business leaders. For those of our listeners that may be business orientated, or maybe they're employees in a different way, how does that pertain to what you're saying now?
Yeah, so oftentimes one of the biggest things that is preventing like an entrepreneur or a business owner from really taking it to the next level is not having enough energy. And that's where we come in with that. An entrepreneur's most valuable currency is their energy. And what I mean by energy, it's not necessarily just specifically talking about what you're eating, but it's also talking about things such as your mindset and looking at things like your presentation. So the way your posture says a lot. Your posture goes a long ways when you're in a boardroom and you're communicating, you're presenting your like your mission. And when I say mission, that's something talking about like your vision that you have. That stuff should energize you, and that leads you to being more of a high performer and improving your productivity.
So what are some of the things we can do to increase our energy levels?
The foremost thing is to sleep. And to help with sleep, the very first thing that I recommend people to do is to develop something called a pre and post sleep routine. So the last 90 minutes before you go to bed, develop a routine that helps you sleep. And first 90 minutes after waking up, have that. So you want to master your mornings and your nights.
And what kind of routine do you have?
Yeah, so I do that. So for me, and everyone's routine looks different. So for me at night, that 90 minutes is the signal that my workday is over. So all the computer's done. So the electronics are all shut off. I'm not using my phone, and I'm reviewing my day to see what did I do well, what didn't I do well. I'm also writing down what do I need to take care of tomorrow, so I don't go to bed with all this stuff on my mind. So I'm kind of journaling. And also I'm done eating also at that time. So this is really for me just to get in touch with my head and see and review my day. So that's what I use my last 90 minutes for. Now, for some people, the last 90 minutes is a great time to really connect with their family, with their kids, and to take care of little personal matters like that. And when we're thinking about a post-sleep, so the 90 minutes after I wake up, I read my manifesto of who I'm becoming, what I'm working toward. I get morning light to align my circadian rhythm. I hydrate, and then I do about 15 to 20 minutes of just some simple yoga poses and mobility stuff.
Okay. So for people that this could be challenging for, so in the evening, usually we watch TV right before we go to bed. Often, I would imagine you watch TV, or you watch a movie, then you grab your phone on your way to bed, or you're flipping through your news feed right before you close your eyes. Can you give us some action steps that we can take or transition into, slowly moving away from that kind of routine?
Yeah. So if you're going to do that with your phone, a lot of phones now, I have an iPhone, is you can put it on night shift mode, and that helps dim the light. Another thing is with the TV and the computers, invest in some blue blocking glasses, and that dramatically helps the situation. So you can still watch your shows if that's how you connect and that's how you unwind, but you can watch the shows without really interfering with your melatonin levels that are supposed to be increasing at that time of the night.
So, Julian, tell me that again. They're called blue blocking glasses?
Yes.
And what are they?
It's you're putting some glasses on, and the lights. So when you look at a screen, like our smartphones or our computer, it's very bright, and that's blue light is affecting our melatonin. It's suppressing our melatonin at night, which is our sleep hormone. Because the reason why this happens is because light is our chief communicator as far as whether we should be awake or whether we should be asleep. And with those glasses on, you're not letting those lights come in as much. So you're blocking a lot of that. So you're still signaling to your body that it's nighttime and it's running its natural patterns. And so you're not interfering with that. So a popular brand that people use is a brand called Swannies. That's a pretty good one.
Can you spell that?
Yeah. SWANNIES. And there's another brand called Carbon Shade. CARBONSHADE.
And what do they look like? They just look like sunglasses, or they look like those pinhole glasses?
Yeah, they're actually pretty stylish. So they look like regular glasses, but just with a tint on them. So they're pretty stylish. So you'll look pretty cool.
So you'd be hanging out 10 o'clock at night, watching your favorite show, chilling with your glasses on.
Yes. And another cool thing for the computer, and this is a free tool here. Now, if you're a designer, make sure you keep this in mind if you're designing at night. But this software is called f.lux, so it's f.lux, and it's a completely free tool that you can install on your computer. And what it does is it takes your location and it dims the lights according to like your location. So if the sun is going down wherever you live, you'll notice your computer is starting to dim as well.
Very cool. And so if this is something you're working, maybe for entrepreneurs that are working late into the evening, the computer will just naturally dim.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then so the goal here is not to have bright lights shining in your face while you're trying to slow everything down before bedtime.
Yes. That light is, if you can reduce like your light exposure, that is a big rock when it comes to helping your sleep and getting quality sleep at that. It's just the light exposure.
Okay. So we're taking some action steps towards having less electronics, less, noise going on in our minds and our brains and in our eyes as well, maybe with these sunglasses or with this app. And then, so what's the next step? Is it really just understanding that we probably shouldn't have a TV in the bedroom or shouldn't have a phone in the bedroom? Is there anything else that we can work on while we're transitioning to 90 minutes away from electronics before bed?
Yeah, so I would look into, for someone that's like an entrepreneur or so, I would really plan my day out the night before. And the reason why is because how many times have we woken up in the morning and we didn't know what we were going to do. So it's easy to get distracted that way. You find a lot of things to do. So you can find yourself busy, but you're not necessarily busy on the things that actually matter. So that's wasting a lot of mental energy, because you're using a lot of your energy on things that literally are not moving the needle forward.
So if we plan our day in advance, then we know what we need to get done, and we can move forward progressively without kind of worrying about all the little things that probably don't matter.
Exactly. And you're operating with more precision, and so you're being more efficient.
Okay. And then we do that the night before?
Yes.
Okay, so we went over the night before. I want to break down morning routines. I love morning routines. I think everyone should have a morning routine. When we get up in the morning, how do we set ourselves up for success, or how do we set a morning routine specific to our lifestyle?
Well, there's a couple essentials on there, and the first one is, of course, hydration. I can't preach enough the importance of hydration. So we all need to hydrate. So that's one of the first things I would include in there, is to do that. Next is to get some kind of movement. Now, it doesn't have to be a crazy intense CrossFit workout or going for a long walk or anything like that, but just some simple activity to wake yourself up, get some electricity going in your body, and to also, I saw a cool study, and the thing was that people who did some activity earlier in the day actually helped their sleep at night. And they did 3 different areas. They did a 7 a.m., they did a 1 p.m. and a 7 p.m. And the 7 a.m. had like a dramatic difference. I think it was around like 50%. And they also had a lower blood pressure and a whole other host of health biomarkers that improved. So I think one of the best things you could do is, if you have the time to do this, is just to go for a 20-minute walk. If you can work that out, a 20-minute walk, that's cognitively going to be beneficial for you. And you're also getting some activity in.
So you know what I wanted to mention here is I was just reading this book about mornings and people waking up for success, and this light, someone was explaining this Philips light, and as we know now, like you have Alexa and you have Google Home and you can do everything voice automated and dimmers. It's quite insane if you really break it down. But someone was explaining this Philips light and how it slowly, if you say you want to get up at 6 a.m., so at 5 a.m. it would just slowly start to brighten. And throughout however long you set it for, 20 minutes, an hour, it'll slowly brighten. And then the alarm clock can be pretty much whatever you want. So this individual had chirping birds as it was crazy. So it's like the sun is slowly coming up to chirping birds. It sounds like something from a movie.
Yeah, that's an awesome way to wake up because you don't have your smartphone and you don't have that. I think alarm clocks, like typical alarm clocks, are a little annoying.
Oh my gosh. Like I rarely wake up to those anymore, but I couldn't imagine. Like I have nightmares about like waking up late for school while I'm sleeping in and this alarm's going, It was like,
yeah. So that light thing is one of the best things that someone could use if they really wanted to improve and go for a big win, because you're getting some light exposure in the morning. And yeah, so I can't speak enough about those things.
Yeah.
I luckily live somewhere where the sun's out all the time. So it's not really needed for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that waking up and just turning on the lights and like running around. I mean, we all know the difference between waking up on a Saturday morning and enjoying your morning, and then waking up on a Monday morning and you're a bit late and you're rushing around the house. Your whole day's ruined. Yeah,
and you just can't catch up, and you inherently you fatigue yourself. You fatigue yourself because you're playing catch up to the day. You're in reactive mode, and it's really hard to perform at your best when you're just constantly in a reactive state.
Julian, I'm looking at this picture of you here that you sent in. What are you doing? Explain it to us. It's an awesome picture. Explain it to our audience. You have to go, whoever's our listeners, you have to go to the blog post on exploringmindandbody.com to check it out. But is there anything in particular that you're doing there, Julian?
Just jumping around?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a friend needed to make some photos to build his portfolio, and we were just taking a break, and so I just started to jump on the walls and to see. I was just jumping on the walls, and so he's like, "That could be a cool picture," and so we just took the picture, and in my head, I was like Spider-Man, so I was trying to stick on the walls, but it didn't work. But yeah, it looked like a cool picture, and it turned out well, and so I use it sometimes.
Yeah, very cool. So I wanted to ask you earlier, when you're talking about comic books, did you have a favorite comic book or favorite superhero?
Yeah, so it's kind of a tie. It's a 1A to 1B. So it's between Black Panther and symbiote Spider-Man. So I know that's very particular, but but I like that Spider-Man because that Spider-Man had a little more of an aggressive attitude. He was more edgier, and he was a little more bulkier and bigger. And so when I looked at those two guys, I was like, that's the kind of physique I want, because no matter how much I tried, I was never going to have a body like the Hulk and be like this big, thick, massive machine. So I was always going to be fairly lean looking and lanky. So I looked at those two guys.
And I feel like I missed the whole Black Panther era. Like I did a little, like I was a little bit into comic books like Superman, Spider-Man, Batman, but I completely missed Black Panther. And I feel like when the movie came out, everyone in the world watched it. And I'm like, who is this guy?
I literally think everyone in the world did watch that movie. And I think everyone in the world literally watched the Avengers also. But Black Panther, I mean, here's the cool thing. This is, I guess, a little off subject, but a lot of the Avengers and even Black Panther, those are not the most popular superheroes in comics. Those are like very obscure characters. Like Captain America was not cool in comics. Iron Man was not cool. Black Panther, no one even knew who that was.
I'm glad I'm not alone there.
Yeah, nobody. So, so these guys were not popular. Like they're popular now because they're in the movies, but in the comics, mainstream people knew Spider-Man, Wolverine. You know, they didn't know like Thor. Who's Thor? Like what?
Yeah.
So it's very interesting to see this development, but it's just very cool. But that stuff motivated me to really get into fitness and to also become a lover of science, because all those superheroes were fairly smart and they were in shape. And so if someone's out there trying to take their fitness to another level, or they're struggling right now, don't be afraid to like find some models that inspire you and use that as your inspiration and build a new character until you have enough in yourself to survive on your own. Because that's what I needed. I needed to find some inspiration. And so just keep your eyes peeled, because inspiration can come from the unlikeliest of places.
What's your favorite book, Julian?
Oh, man.
I know it's tough when you got to pick one. Give us one. First thing that comes to mind.
Okay. The first thing that comes to mind is The 50th Law by Robert Greene and 50 Cent.
The 50th Law?
Yeah.
And what's that about?
Man, it's about 50 Cent. So in case people don't know, 50 Cent is a popular rapper and an entertainer now. And it's just about his life in general and the lessons that he learned on making it in the record industry. So a brief backstory is he got shot 9 times and lost record deals. And then he bounced back and basically became like a cultural phenom. And he kind of took it on himself to make a lot of things. So because the record industries, he didn't rely on the typical record industries and none of that. And so there's like very good lessons in there. So like one for me is just like things that come easy and fast will leave you just as fast. And so that's a very good life metaphor for whether it's fitness, whether it's business. Because if you think about it, think about these fat diets where these people lose an insane amount of weight. And then all of a sudden, like you see them six months down the road and it's all back.
Yeah, no question. We say it all the time. And I think that's a great way to look at it, because it's true. Anytime we talked about a couple other, like the keto, for example, and I think there's a lot of benefits to that one in particular, but I think people kind of abuse, they're like, oh, I can lose a bunch of weight, and that's not really what it was meant for. And if you look at different types of fad diets, you're usually on it for a short amount of time. You see a bunch of results, and everything comes back. So again, if you find something where you get quick results, you lose it just as quick. Julian, I want to ask you. I'm asking you quick questions here because we're slowly running out of time. If you could pick maybe 2 or 3 things, I know you lived in New York City, that something that you've learned and that you could share with our audience, what would that be? Your experiences living in New York City.
So you're not the only one out there. And what I mean by that is, for the longest of times, I felt just like an outcast or like not relatable. I just felt lost in the world. And then I found, quote unquote, I don't like this word, but everybody understands it. I quote unquote found my tribe. I found the tribe of people that I resonated with. And that community aspect is so powerful. And the second lesson is persistence pays off. And what I mean by that is, when I first got started with writing, I didn't come from a typical writing background. I had no experience. I just started writing, and luckily I had a friend who helped edit my stuff and tell me stuff. And over time, you just build that skill and you get better and better with practice. And I relate those same things to fitness and health, because when you have a community or some kind of support network in health, you're going to go further than just being by yourself and trying to do everything on your own, because you need that support. You need that tribe of people who see the world the way you see it. And the other lesson is persistence with that. So every workout, you're going to get better. Every single workout, you're going to get better. Every day with your nutrition, it's going to get easier and easier. So it might seem like there's a lot of rules at first, and that's just because you're new. But once you learn the fundamentals, it becomes clockwork and almost automatic in a sense. So just keep those two things in mind.
I enjoy this where you said find your tribe, because we often talk about on the show or outside of with clients and members, and I think it's so important to you're in like our close environment, like the people that we spend our time with, that we talk with, that we share stories with. Our environment means everything, and it's so important to find that supportive environment of like-minded individuals that want to move in a similar direction. How would you recommend, or how were you able to find a tribe where you could grow and flourish together?
Yes, it was through trial and error. That's the non-sexy answer. But if I had to do it over again, I would just look for events that interest me, and that increases the likelihood that I'm going to find more people like me there if they enjoy this type of thing. And so, that.
Yeah, could you explain that a bit more? Like, where would you go to find events, or what would you do? Like
okay.
Conferences or meetups?
Okay. Yeah, so meetups is good. And so for me, here's a very random one. I went to salsa dancing meetups. And so that's a habit where I'm still getting activity in, but I also want a social aspect as well. So I went to meetup.com and found some salsa events and I met some people there that I kind of resonated with in that area of my life. And let's talk about, so different tribes. I would break this down to different facets of your life. For health specifically, I'm going to meetups. I'm also just searching for events through like in magazines and all those different lifestyle publications that most cities send. And I'm just going to pick one and try it out and just go from there. I'm not too much of a internet user. Now, some people like things like Reddit and stuff, but that's too overwhelming for me. And Facebook goes. I've seen people use Facebook groups, which has been beneficial to some people. So it really comes down to just trying things and just getting yourself out there and taking action. And then just after you take the action, assess the feedback and then go from there.
All right, Julian, before we wrap things up here, can you tell us about maybe just some more details about yourself? Do you have a website, products? Let our listeners know in case they want more information or more details about yourself.
Yeah, so my home base has everything there, and it's theartoffitnessandlife.com. And my only product right now is it's a coaching program. It's Automate Your Health, and it's about helping people create limitless energy. And it's a 12-week program where we thoroughly start with assessing where you are, and then we base that strategy from that vantage point, and then we implement a blueprint, kind of just like an architect constructs a building to perfection in different areas of your life so that your health is automated. And it starts mostly with nutrition and sleep, and then we just work outward from there.
Awesome. All right, Julian, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your expertise with us. I love this interview. It was great. I can't wait to share with our audience. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, Drew. Pleasure being on here.
Life.
All right, that's going to wrap things up for this edition of Exploring Mind and Body. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for tuning in and being a part of our True Form Life community. All past shows are going up on exploringmindandbody.com. So if you ever miss a show, you can always go back and check out past shows there. We also have a free app you can download on any Apple device. So head over to the Apple Store, download the show on your device, and take us with you wherever you go. We'd love to hear where you're listening or what you're doing when you're listening to the show. You can also find more details as to what we have going on at trueformlife.com. This is where we do more fitness routines, grocery shopping lists, recipes, and meal planning. We do these individualized and for groups. If you'd like to check out our monthly membership group exclusively for Exploring Mind and Body listeners, the first month is only $1. No obligation to sign up or stay with us. If you'd like to check it out, hang out with us and see what we do and how we do it, we can certainly get you going in the right direction. Head over to trueformlife.com for more details. Once again, thank you so much for being here. That's it. That's all I got. I'm out of here. As always, I'm your host, Drew Tadia, in health and fitness for a better world. Thanks for listening.
You've been listening to Exploring Mind and Body with Trueform Life's Drew Tadia, fitness expert. To find out more about the show, Drew Tadia, or to listen to past shows, visit exploringmindandbody.com.